Royal Club. Thank you for joining us from around the world. This is our last club session for at least for the foreseeable future. That means before Christmas, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. But since we are, well, some of us are from Europe, and we have Christmas is not just one day, it's 24th night, 25th and 26th. It's 3-day holiday here. So everybody's with their families and with their extended families. So of course we want to make sure that everybody has time to spend with their loved ones. So next Tuesday we will not meet. I know it's different in the States because that's Boxing Day. So you guys are probably able to do whatever you want to do. But for us, Christmas is a serious thing.
Yes.
It's not a small thing. It's a 3-day holiday, and we cook and we bake and we have our families over, and we also go to visit family members, and that's for some of us who are blessed with big families is a big thing. But so that's why we are not going to see you next week, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. But anyway, everyone is doing fine. Yes.
Yes.
Good. Richard is with us from Rhode Island all the way. Mark is with us in the spirit because he has to work, and he probably going to listen in, but probably not going to be able to join us live. And of course, we have our favorite Dutch couple from all the way from Holland, and we have my favorite me here in my new apartment, but that still looks the same, doesn't it? That's the miracle of the technology. But anyway, tonight I thought we are going to continue with our panel discussions, which I really, really enjoyed. I want to talk, or we want to discuss, which is better, monogamy in a relationship or whatever. I don't want to say polygamy because that sounds horrible. But these days, I mean, it's almost like you have to explicitly say that, you know what, we are exclusive in a relationship. I mean, I thought that kind of goes without saying that when you are in a relationship with someone, that has to be exclusive. Otherwise, you don't have a relationship. And that's my view on the whole thing. But of course, everybody is entitled to their own view and see which one works. Now, I like to get questions. I like to get comments. And of course, everybody is entitled to say whatever they believe. But I also want to just put it out there that I have never met anyone who was happy in their not monogamous relationships. Either both parties were, well, for lack of a better word, desperate or unhappy, or just one of the parties were unhappy when the relationship was not monogamous. But since today is a very modern world, we have to discuss it because it's not obvious for everyone, which is better. Of course, we are coming from the Bible's perspective, which is the normal perspective. Just for you guys out there, if you don't like what you're hearing, that's fine. I'm very happy that you don't agree with me. I'm not looking for anybody to agree with me. This is what I believe, and this is what I have seen work. And I think those who have tried the polygamous relationship and the monogamous relationship can tell the difference. Other than that, you have your own opinion. I'm fine with that. And I want to, what triggered it, I want to read to you from somebody who is a relationship advisor. I'm not going to name names, but this is what he put out there. And you can be sure that I had my opinion and I shared it with him. He did not agree with me. But anyway, so it says, polygamous or monogamous, which is better? One of our great social media cultural debates. I don't think it should be a debate, but hey, for me, well, neither. He says neither because he wants to be politically correct, I suppose. It's not a competition. That's what things always get charged when we put values on the table. Well, I think when there's a relationship that involves two people, values are already on the table. So I don't know what he meant, but hey, he is probably a Harvard educated person in this field. a psychologist, but that's his opinion. He's also in a relationship, by the way, and as far as I know, it's exclusive. So I don't know why he's advocating for not monogamous relationships, but that's what he says. Okay, because our values are the most important things in the world to us. Relationship styles are just that, styles. That's what he said. I don't agree. No. He says relationships are styles. They are just that, styles. Well, let me circle back to that. They are values and desires for the ways in which we want to explore love and physical intimacy. Isn't that nice? Sounds nice. There is nothing wrong with that. The only place it becomes wrong is when we attempt to force someone else to value what we value. So in other words, there is no absolutes, right? So there is no right or wrong according to him. It's whatever works for you. Well, I have never seen a relationship that worked when it was not monogamous.
Yeah.
And definitely wasn't long-lived. It was a very short-lived. All of these non-monogamous relationships are very short-lived. So that kind of tells you whether it's working or not. Okay. And okay, so the only place it becomes wrong is when we attempt to force someone else to value what we value. Now, if you imagine this in the practical sense, what a non-monogamous relationship looks like, and what he means by one person might actually force their values on the other person. This is in my reading, this is what it means. Let's say the brilliant idea of the man is that, oh, you know what? Let's see some other people, meaning let's open this relationship. Let's have this open relationship. And the woman says, I don't think so. So by objecting it, she apparently forces her value system onto the man. Mm-hmm. Poor man. So that's what it means. You forcing your own value systems to someone else. And that's wrong, according to the expert. And this holds true across the board, not just in relationship styles. Apparently, that's just the style. Okay. When we find our values and our desires clashing with each other, with the other person, with the other persons, and we are trying to do romance and relationship together, the inevitable result is pain. What? What? So apparently a relationship is not really based on romance, but we are trying to do that kind of results in pain. So then why are you in a relationship if there's no romance involved? Okay, so reading on. If I am monogamous and you are polygamous and we get into a relationship and both of us know that deep down in this is our personal value that we don't want to give up. Now this I agree. It would never work if both of them come from a very different perspective, especially in the essence of the relationship, because that's the essence of the relationship. If I am mono and you are poly and we get into a relationship, and both of us know that deep down, this is our personal value that we don't want to give up. Then we will fight about it, compromise on it, hurt each other, hurt ourselves, and don't get to say whether someone else's relationship desires are valid or not. You don't get to say, that's what it says. Okay, not sure I agree. And they don't get to say whether yours are. In other words, to each their own. Okay? The answer to it, and that's why I'm over here going on and on about standards, is because standards is the answer to the struggle. I might actually agree with this. If I know what I value in relationship, like I really know it, then I can be super loving to myself and to you by honoring it. That's not what I meant. I'm a mono person and you are poly. Hey, great, that's beautiful. I'd love to know more about why that's so important to you. But no, thank you. I don't want a relationship like that. I can listen to your value system, but I personally don't want to adopt these values because every style is valid. See, my problem with this, that this is not a style. You either have a relationship or you don't. And a relationship by default is a monogamous relationship. If you have an open relationship, you have an arrangement. You don't have a relationship. Okay? Just want to put it out there. Then why are you there? I mean, if the person can go and sleep with whomever they want to sleep with, and I'm talking about even in marriage, okay? Because someone would have this brilliant idea. Usually it's the man's brilliant idea that, you know what, let's open this marriage to other people. Well, the moment you decide that, you kind of give up your right to have a wife, the right to have a person taking you seriously, because you are not serious about this relationship and you're not serious about the other person. And it's not a matter of style, it's a matter of standards. You value yourself enough as a woman in this situation that you don't want to be with someone who doesn't respect you, who disrespects you, who thinks that it's okay for you to sleep around with whomever you want to, or actually maybe it's not okay for you to sleep around, but it's okay for him to sleep around. That's usually how it works, right? So, and that's just the style. No, it's not a style. Okay, and I'm even including flirtation. You don't flirt with anybody else either. That's not okay. That part of your relationship is only for your relationship. That part of you, that side of you, and goes both ways. Okay, so it says save yourself and them the heartbreak and the fighting and the convincing and the arguing by leaving it alone. Meaning that if one person wants one thing, the other person wants something else, then just leave it alone. That I agree. In my opinion, if even someone just you don't even have to be Christian, you just have to be a sane person at this point. If you think that it's not disrespectful for the other person to have you run around on them, or for him to be perfectly okay with you running around and sleeping around with other people, that person doesn't respect you, doesn't respect himself, doesn't respect the relationship, whether it's male or female, makes absolutely no difference. I mean, idiots come in both sizes, I'm sure, but don't feel bad if you want to have a monogamous relationship and your partner wants to have a polygamous relationship or an open relationship, as it is commonly used as a phrase. Don't feel bad and don't feel that something is wrong with you because you want to tie the person down, quote unquote. You don't want to tie the person down. The person is free to go. The door always open, one way out, and you don't come back ever again. No, really, that's what it is. That's what it means to have standards for yourself. And it's much better to be alone than with the wrong person. Right. That's to open it up. And also, if you have kids and they see that both of you guys are running around on each other, that means sleeping around, that will give them a very, very bad picture of this whole thing that should be a unit, that should be a family, that should be a team. So you are not doing a favor for your kids either. I am very sure that those people who know that you have your partner, you have your wife, husband, and you still run around and sleeping with other people, they don't respect you. Even if you sleep with them, they will not respect you. So just that on the side. They may pretend like they respect you, but deep down inside, they do not respect you. Everybody respects those who are holding on to one person and one person alone, and they wish they would find someone like that who holds on to them. I'm absolutely convinced. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they pretend. I don't care that they're trying to be more modern. They're trying to be more PC or whatever. Oh yeah, this is wonderful. No, deep down inside, they want to be that person that someone is holding on to, that someone is faithful to. They probably not able to find one, and therefore they're trying to pretend like, oh, I'm so modern, it's okay nowadays, it was like in the old Bible days when people had to, cling to one to each other. But now we have a different standard. No, the standard never changed because people never really changed, and standards are standards and they don't change. And deep down inside, everybody wants to be the one that the other person loves and not just an option. Okay. So that's from me. Okay. Let's see what else I can glean from this absolute nonsense. Yeah. So basically, this person just wanted to say that, oh, you know what? Whether you are polygamous or monogamous, it's okay because it's just a relationship style, because it's just a style. That's all that is. There are no absolutes. It's all beautiful. It's all love. It's no. It's not love. If somebody wants to open the relationship to the point where you know both of you guys are free to sleep around, or only him sleep free to sleep around, that person is selfish at the very least and has a serious problem with lust, and you need to get rid of the person. That's my opinion, and just walk away. That's yep. What you do. Walk away, because you need to love yourself more than that. You need to respect yourself more than that. That person doesn't respect you. I don't care what he says. I don't care that he gives you coffee to, you know, and toast every morning in you know, and serves it on a silver platter in your bed. That is not respect. When in the most serious part of your relationship, you guys' relationship is not being honored, is not being hold as an inner sanctum for both of you. That's not okay. And I don't care how the world changes. The world is not going in the right direction. I think we can all agree. So just because everybody is doing it, it doesn't mean that it's okay. Number one, not everybody is doing it. You just, if you think everyone is doing it, you are in the wrong circle. You need to change your circle of friends. And also, I can tell you that not everyone is doing it. In fact, more and more people who've been around the block, so to speak, now they begin to realize, you know what, it's not good for me. I don't feel good about myself. Nobody feels good about me. I can't find a person who is respecting me. And now they're trying to come around and they actually try to hold on to one person. So I know a lot of stories like that because they've tried the other way. They tried this polygamous thing and it didn't work. They tried the open relationship, didn't work. The relationship broke down. They lost the person that they thought they loved. And they alone, and they find out, you know what, it didn't work. So I'm going to go the opposite direction. And they really taken 180 and turn their life around. And I respect people like that, but you don't have to follow that example. You can learn from the example of others. So when you see that someone else made a mistake, you don't want to make the same mistake. So obviously you are, again, entitled to your own opinion. This is a club. People are able to talk, and we don't shut anybody down, but we are looking forward to hearing your questions and reading your questions or comments. But definitely the Bible teaches us for a reason to be faithful to each other and to have a monogamous relationship. Even God is a jealous God. That's what the Bible says. I mean, if God is a jealous God and we are like him, then you can imagine that this is completely normal for you to be jealous, to feel like that person should be mine and mine alone, and I should be his and his alone, not belonging to anybody or everybody. That's just not how it goes. It will not make you happy. It will not make you respected. And definitely it is not a relationship. If you are in this kind of an arrangement, open arrangement, that's not a relationship. So that's my take on the situation. So, and I would like to open the panel. Please let me know what you think about this. Is monogamy okay? Or maybe it's an old thing we need to forget about and open these relationships to something much more exciting. So, por favor.
Well, it's a very interesting subject.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Very timely too.
Yes, in our society, it is very important to really go to the values of the Bible, to the principles of the Bible. It was a long time ago. I was very young, and there was a film it was in a setting of a week with school, and they showed a film that was called Le Bonheur. It was a French film with a very happy couple. They had two children. They walked in the woods, and there was some Mozart music all around. La la la. It was really happiness. Ideal. And then he saw another woman in the post office, and he fell in love with her. And well, the whole affair started. And then he said to his wife, "Isn't this wonderful that we have now? I have more arms to love you," something like that. And how wonderful it is to share the love with each other. And well, she didn't say anything, but she finally walked into a pond and drowned herself.
Oh, that's terrible.
And the film finished with the same picture with him and her, his new wife, and the two children walking in the woods in the autumn with Mozart. And so I think I was 20 or so. I was so mad, this whole concept of this, and I think it is normal because you have extended your love and bring more people because you have so much love for everyone. I was really mad. And I did not know Alexander at that time because that took another 10 years. But inside, that this concept of you can easily do that because it makes you more happy is such a lie of the pit of hell.
It is, yeah. I'm glad they showed that she killed herself, because that kind of tells you that she was not happy.
No, but she did not.
People don't kill themselves, so.
Because there was still Mozart and la la la, yeah, happiness, but there was not happiness. It was not, because she very slowly walked into that pond and they dragged her out. So that proves to me that there is standard that God intended Adam and Eve to be together.
Exactly.
No, but when people start to read the Bible, when they are new believers, and they start to read Genesis, and they start to read Samuel and Kings and Chronicles, you encounter a lot of different things. You see that Abraham had another wife because he wanted to have a son, and he thought, well, it's not going to work with Sarah, so maybe the suggestion of Sarah was just try it with Hagar.
So, and then the problems between Hagar and Sarah start.
Of course, there was jealousy. Of course. So I don't know about Isaac, but I know about Jacob. Jacob had two wives, and of course it was not so-called his fault or whatever, but
it was a cultural, many thousands of years ago, cultural.
Yes, and also King David and King Solomon, and
it keeps him from the Lord.
No, so you could, if you are a new believer and reading all these stories, you could easily think that in some ways God allowed it or so, or
He allowed it, but even so, look at all these examples that you have mentioned.
Yeah.
All of them had okay, let's say from the perspective of the husband, all of those husbands, David, Jacob, Abraham, they had their favorites.
yes.
Yeah.
So what were the others?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were just there to procreate. So they were, in my opinion, okay, from my perspective, they were just being used.
Yes.
Right. Misused.
I think I made it.
And
So let's see it from the perspective of the women.
yes, well, that was the first thing I thought when you had the subject of monogamy or not. The first thing in my mind was you have to do with people, you have to do with feelings, you have to do with expectations. If I don't do that, but if I make flirtations or anything, then I rob some other persons and they have an expectation from me if I do, you know. So I play with feelings and with things of another. So that's very, very that's not the way to do that. And I was always thinking, if you have the woman of your life, we are two spirits too. It's also a spiritual
Oh yeah, first and foremost, of course, yeah.
Together coming,
Unity,
and so when people sleep around, then they are one spirit with that person.
Yes.
So that's another thing. And I was this last weekend very shocked. I met two people, and we know them for a huge time, and they
Long ago,
and we met. Oh, nice to meet you. And the first thing he said, we are divorced. And I said, what? Are you divorced? You wrote a book about a good marriage.
Yes.
Ha ha ha. That's not a guarantee. He told me. I was shocked. And then one day later, I met another person, and they were also divorced. And it was Christian people. And then I thought, what?
They were church planters.
They were church planters. And I was thinking, what is happening? What's happening in your life and in the life of your wife or your ex-wife in this case? And I was shocked. I was really shocked because the Apostle Charles say about the law and the spirit in Romans. They take it to marriage, but it's more than marriage. But if we are come together and we are one person together, we are one flesh. That means a lot to me, for me.
Yeah.
And I will never be unfaithful, because I know then I disappoint my wife, my children, my people around me too. I know what it is. I am a son of divorced parents. Yes, I know what the consequences are for children. And it's a great consequence for children. When a father and a mother divorce, they have to set themselves in 4 families.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
So
it's
more
than inconvenient, but also the inconvenience is also
I have experience for myself in that time. I make a decision. I was 10 years or 11 years. I was a young person at that time, and I made a decision. I want only sex with that woman who I married.
Yes.
And after my wedding, I will have that. And I was not a Christian. I was not church grow up, but there's something in me from God that no, I will do that. And I can tell you, I was in my young days, a very handsome man. So many people came to me to offer themselves and say, no, this is for my marriage. I don't do that. I didn't know about all the feelings and all that sort because I was very young. But later on, I was so thankful to have that path. And later on, I accept Jesus in my life, or better to say, Jesus accepts me in his life. Because many people say, I accept Jesus, but there's more. Jesus accepts me.
But that was the grace of God on your life. That was God's grace on your life, because as you said, you were not even a follower of Christ at the time, but yet you had Christian values. Even without knowing, you had Christian values. So that was the grace of God. It was no accident.
No,
so special grace. Special
and
grace.
I think somebody have prayed for me. There must somebody,
I know.
And maybe it's she, because she was older than me.
That is
you
true.
know?
From the moment I was, I think, teenager, I prayed for my future husband.
That's one.
Yeah, so every day. And I think your grandmother prayed for you.
Yes, I think.
She was a Catholic. Yeah.
So and we have to do with feelings, with persons, and you can't restore a person who are very close to you and you do this. It's very hard to restore persons.
Very hard. The trust, of course, that is broken, it's very, very hard to restore. And also, from what I have seen, somebody who's unfaithful once usually doesn't stop there. It usually becomes a habit.
Right.
It usually becomes a habit, and then I don't even want to go in there to explain it more further, but I have a lot of I see a lot of examples, bad examples, and all I can say is that none of them are happy. They live the kind of life they want. Then why are you not happy? You said it's okay to cheat on, but you're not happy. You're still searching. You're in your 60s and you're still searching. And then it's like, then why is it not working for you? If you think it works, you said it works. Well, I'm looking at you and you're not happy. So.
Yes. Yesterday I had a meeting for our neighborhood, and I give all them a present of the big picture of LaDonna Osborne, because it's the end of the year, and had a meeting with pizza, etc.
Translated into Dutch.
So translated in Dutch. So I give them all, and one I give another book from Tia Osborne, because she already received that book. And then one man told me, yes, I'm not married, I live together, because you never know.
Yeah.
I think I will tell you later on, not in public on that moment, but some people doesn't want to marry because ...
You never know.
You never know. And that's weird. But they have seen the examples about marriage and divorces. So that's the reason they
I understand that perspective, because to me that if you say, well, I don't want to marry the person I'm living with because you never know, that means you don't trust the person.
Or yourself.
And that also means you don't trust yourself.
Yeah.
And that basically you told me without telling me that you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your partner, but you live together. So why do you live together if you don't trust either of you? Number one, what people need to understand, that this is a decision. This is a decision. If you want to be unfaithful, you can be unfaithful. There are plenty of opportunities. If you want to be faithful, that is going to take work. That is for some more than for others, because some of us are very monogamous by nature, just like Alexander, from nature. And some people are not. So again, for some, it would be easy to be faithful to one person, and for others it maybe work, but either way it's your decision.
Yes.
Being unfaithfulness doesn't happen. That's my favorite line. Oh, it just happened. No. Rain happens, earthquake happens, everything else is a decision. You made a decision, a conscious decision, an informed decision, that you don't want to be faithful to your wife or your husband.
Oh no, never.
Or your partner, if you are boyfriend and girlfriend, or you are in the stage of getting married but you're not yet married. That you made a decision, and I don't believe you deserve the other person, and I hope the other person leaves you.
And I know the history about you, Richard, and Denise. You come together. You come back together.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, well, that's such an interesting story, because you were talking about praying for your spouse before you ever met him. And I was very young. I started praying for my wife. And
Wow.
it was years and years and years later that I finally met her. But I found out that a few years after, this is an interesting story. A few years after I started praying for my wife, I actually saw her. She came on vacation to California, where I was living, and I just happened to be walking across the street in front of this restaurant, and I turned and I looked, and I thought, that is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And just standing there and look, and then went away. And then I found out after we got married, she says, yeah, she had gone to this restaurant and was standing there in front of the restaurant with this other woman. And I just found that interesting, that when you pray for somebody before you even meet them, there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, of course, we spent the last most of the last 20 years together, and but we were apart for quite a while. But even during the time we were apart, we both were still committed to each other, which was, it's unbelievable actually when you think about it. But
Yeah.
I know.
But I made a decision a long time ago that this is the biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life. And when the two become one again, I mean, God took Adam and he made man and a woman, but then when the man and the woman come back together, it's still one. And if you try to look at it any other way than that, you're going to have issues, because it just doesn't fit. It's a commitment for life. And in fact, we in the vows we say, till death do us part. Well, turns out that's not true, because if we're one in the spirit, it's forever.
Yeah.
And it was the best illustration that I ever saw. I remember when I got married, because I saw that this is a picture of us being one in Christ.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. And I'm saying, wow, Jesus, you're the head of the church, and I'm the head of this family, and I have an illustration now of what I am in Christ. And just every day was another revelation like that. And it is continued even on to the point where when she went to be with Jesus a few months ago, I'm still with her. I'm still one in the same body. And now we're all one in Christ. Which is the biggest mystery of all, is how he raised us all with him. and in the love that he had or has, because it's in eternity, the love that he has for us, we can't even imagine. We just get to see evidence of it all the time, especially when we look at our wife or our husband, we say, you did this for me, you know. And these times that we come together in the timeline, you can't walk together with somebody unless you're in agreement with them. If you got like 5 other relationships on the side, you're not committed. You know, that's just an emotion. You know, which is fleeting. It goes away. But if you have the connection in your heart, in your spirit, that you know that you're one, and when you do something, it affects that other person just like it's their, you know, their hand doing it. It gives you a whole different picture of this relationship that God gave us here on earth. And thank you, Reka. This is a good subject.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It is.
I know you want. It was interesting because you said when we first got back together, you said, "Oh, I want to interview you too," you know, and I thought, "Oh, that'll be fun." It never happened.
Never happened, huh?
Yeah, well, it's happening right now. So, thank you.
But praise God. So that's a good example that at any age, whatever happens, and for however long you guys were apart, God had a way to bring you guys back. So in the end, you guys were together. So that's a good testimony. And when she wanted to go, she went, and then all is well. All is well. So yeah, back to kings and different societies and different cultures when they, you know, choose many wives. Funny how a woman cannot have many husbands.
That is true.
Now I wonder why.
Even in the Muslim culture.
Maybe because we don't want to.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave it there. It's not man bashing day today. Tomorrow might be, but not today. But anyway, I don't want to join the chorus of man bashing because that's very popular today. So I'm not gonna push their chariots, as we say in Hungary. I'm not gonna add my voice to that. But women usually don't have the brilliant idea to sleep around. It's usually men who have the brilliant idea. Let's have this relationship. And I wonder why that is. But they never end up well because the woman believes, and she's right. And it's not because she's not modern enough to accommodate this very reasonable request of the man, but but because they realize that they respect themselves more than this, and they are not to be trifled with. And just like how Alexander said that somebody who respects themselves, this is not the way to live. This is not the way to, even as a woman, you don't want to put yourself in a position where anybody can just walk all over you and you behave like a doormat, and you feel like you even have to smile in the process, because otherwise you would be viewed as someone who's old-fashioned or something. But getting back to that culture that Frida was mentioning, isn't that interesting that, for instance, Jacob's wives, 2 wives, Rachel and Leah, don't you think each of them would wanted the guy for themselves alone?
Of course.
Isn't that what it comes across?
Yeah.
Both of them wanted him alone for themselves.
And
they were not, even the 2 wives were not happy in this relationship. He wasn't happy in this relationship either, because he was always had to take someone's side, usually the favorite side. But so then Leah was left out there, you know. So it was a constant competition, a constant fight, and it's just no peace at home, no peace at home. So that didn't work out very well either.
It is so wonderful that God was so gracious to Leah.
Yes, and blessed.
And finally, Rachel dies, so Leah is staying. And maybe a woman is not made like that, to have another woman beside her that loves her husband, because
Definitely. Definitely, I
was-
would not made that way.
it was not so in the beginning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, God would have created more women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
That's not that I think wasn't it when Jesus was asked why Moses allowed to have many wives? He said it's because of the hardness of your hearts.
Yes, right.
That's why.
That
But it
was
wasn't so in the
what-
beginning. But it wasn't so in the beginning, just like what you said.
Yes,
No.
yes.
Meaning that was not plan A.
No.
No,
That
and
people had many wives, even though a whole culture is built upon that. You see a lot of problems,
Yes.
and let's not even go there how many problems, because I can just talk for
Yes,
two
and-
weeks
and-
on that one.
and even well in the Bibles is written that Solomon had 1,000 women and women. It should not be our example because because Judas betrayed Jesus and hung himself. So that example we don't will follow. You know, there are many examples in the Bible you don't follow because it's not the godly standard, the standard of God Himself, and
Yeah.
it's His standard.
It's a good indication that you have one heart. Whether
Yes.
you're male or female, you have one heart. You give it to one person. If you try to give it all, just bits by bits and pieces by pieces, you feel empty. And you feel, oh, you know what? I sold my soul. No, you haven't sold your soul. You gave it away piece by piece. And you feel empty. No wonder. You gave your soul away layer by layer. And now you have nothing. Yeah, now you have nothing. There's a way to call it back, but I'm not going to do you the favor to tell you back. But that's another story for another day. Bottom line is, stay faithful if you're in a relationship. If you are in a wrong relationship, get out of it, whether you are male or female. If someone doesn't respect you, and this would be one of the most obvious signs, in my opinion, if someone says, you know what, let's begin to see other people. You know what? Then you can just see other people all by yourself. The door is open one way. And yeah, if people don't have respect for the other person, there's no reason for you to stay. And then of course they try to cling on to you. Oh, don't leave. Yes, just the fact that you even mention the possibility that you want to see someone else, not a problem. Go ahead, see someone else. That's the last you're ever going to see me. And I don't think it's worthwhile to talk people into staying with you if they don't want to stay with you, or if they want to keep you as a security, as an option. But other than that, they're just gonna go around and sleep around. So every relationship, the basis of a relationship has to be respect. Has to be respect.
Yes.
Even love comes out of respect, and respect comes out of love as well. Both ways. But I can guarantee you, someone who loves you and respects you will never put you in this position. But you will have to choose to be an option for somebody. It's better to be alone than to be the wrong person, definitely.
Yeah. And yes, definitely.
If somebody says that, you know what, I would like to, sleep around, that shows that the person is the wrong person, in my humble opinion. You don't need to wait for another proof. That just shows that the true color of that person. So whether it's a male or female, you need to just leave and let the person.
And what I discover in my journey with Jesus is His standard is the best standard you can have. His standard and opinions in the world change year by year by year by year. There's always a new opinion. There's always,
but it's never a good one.
something new.
It's always worse.
What?
It's always worse than yesterday, isn't it?
Yes. And I'm so thankful that I have His standards, so I doesn't have to doubt if my standard is okay. I have a good standard.
You don't have to find a standard for yourself because you already have one. And it's the best everyone. So you don't have to find what works for you. What works for you is the one who created you. He created you the user's manual. It's called the Bible. And it's very clear what kind of a relationship God wants to give you. He wants to give you a very monogamous relationship for someone who treasures you, respects you, honors you, protects you, defends you. And this is only for you and not for everybody else at the same time. So if that's your idea of a relationship that you can just go around and do whatever you want to do, then it's not a relationship at all. You either have a relationship and that's monogamous, or you don't, you just have an arrangement. You don't have a marriage if it's open for everyone. You just occupy the same page. You don't have a marriage. So that's my take on this. And I can say not from experience personal, because that's not the lifestyle I lead, but I have a lot of friends with different lifestyles because they are from all over the place, and I can tell you that I see their lives, and I've seen their lives from a long time, decades sometimes, and I can tell you people who lead this kind of lifestyle, whether they're male or female, usually male, they are not happy. They are not happy. Even if they're trying to convince themselves and others that they are happy, they are truly not happy. And they secretly envy those who have a standard and wish they could live that way. But they're like, you know what, I tried, but it didn't work for me. But it's, you haven't tried hard enough. You have not tried hard enough. So that's just an excuse. Sometimes you hear that, you know what, it doesn't work for me. I tried. Okay, so how long did you try to work on your marriage? Oh, 2 weeks. Okay, right. You tried to work on your relationship for 2 weeks. Okay, good. It's very good. I don't think you tried hard enough. But again, you can have your own opinion. Let us know if it works for you. I don't think it does, but let us know if it works for you, and let us know if it works for everybody else as well. So just because it seems to be working for you doesn't mean that the person that you are cheating on also is very happy. Because some people just don't say a word, but they are living their lives in quiet desperation, and that's not happiness. And there are all kinds of signs that can tell you that the person is indeed not happy with your decision. And you are basically just being selfish. You are being selfish and self-centered, and you don't deserve a partner, much less a wife or husband, if that's your mindset that you can do whatever you want. If you are a wife or a woman in a relationship where the man decides to run around, see what he says the moment you say, you know what, I think I want to run around too. See what he says. I guarantee you that the scale would be very different. It would be immediately a very different perspective from his part. As long as he can do whatever he wants, he's happy with that. As long as you can do whatever you want, he's not going to be happy with that. So that can also tell you that the person really has no good intention in his heart for you. He just wants to think about himself alone. So again, you can try it, but that's my opinion. That's what I have seen from all walks of life. And the Bible knows best. God knows best, because he created you. He knows what's working. And polygamous relationships never work. Even if you feel at this moment that it works, it's not working. It's going to leave you empty. It's going to leave you desperate. It's going to leave you stupid. And nobody likes to spend time with someone who is stupid, who is untrustworthy, who is not to be trusted, and who can't even be faithful. So that's, nobody respects someone who sleeps around, whether you're male or female. That's you can take it. You can take it.
Yes.
I want to bring another point here.
Sure.
There is in our society, people think that their feelings are the most important.
Very good point.
To live by.
Yeah.
And we talked about romance earlier. Romance is very nice because you're going to fall in love, and the butterflies are flying, and the music is all around you. Not
It can be that it has to be both.
then you hear couples saying, "Yeah, but the love was over," and that is because the the base, the foundation
Yeah.
of the relationship is only feelings, you
Feelings.
know, and feelings, like we say always here, feelings come and feelings go.
Correct.
So the concept of a marriage out of being in love, of course, you cannot go without it. But there must be more as a foundation.
You don't base your relationship on a feeling, is what you're saying. You don't base it on
You cannot do that.
building.
Even if you have butterflies in your stomach in the beginning, it is not enough. The butterflies are not enough. You have to have a real, and that's why it's so wonderful and so important to give your life to the Lord Jesus, because then your life is more about feelings.
Yeah, more than feelings. Yeah.
There is another world to discover, that you can live in the Spirit, and that you can make your decisions, even if you are just beginning to follow the Lord, and ask the Holy Spirit. He will help you and guide you. He will give you answers if you are willing to listen to Him. So young folks out there, please follow the leading of the Holy Spirit in building a relationship with your future husband or wife. So that is my thing. And another thing is that what I know, we did a lot of pastoral work in all those years. What I personally found out is when women sleep, what we call sleep around, they are many times it is so that they have a history of sexual abuse, or abuse in what sense you can say it, because then you have then your boundaries are broken as a woman.
Correct.
And the good news is that there is healing for that as well.
Yes,
That's
we
right.
did it this day.
Today
We
prayed with a young woman who was in that position, and she was desperate, and her mother called us and said, "Yeah, I don't know if she wants to talk to you, and she cannot trust anybody anymore." But we could reach her heart, and we could tell her that it's possible to heal, and then that is even when you have PT, post-traumatic stress syndrome, even then there's healing. There's healing for you, and the Lord Jesus took that too.
Yes, and time after time when we're speaking short with her, I ask her, "Is it okay with you?" Sometimes I say, "Is it okay with you? Is it okay with you?" And I told her, "You have the opportunity to set the boundaries for us." So I make it clear for her, we are here to help you, but if you have any idea we go over your line in words, please say it. And then she relaxed. She relaxed. Yes, and then I told her, "Can I tell you a secret?" "Yes, it's okay." I said, "I don't see a sad person here. I see here a queen who can reign." And she was, "Huh?" So yes, this is not the point where you are. I see where you are going.
Yeah.
And she was very uplifting on that moment, you know.
Of course.
And then afterwards, we are able to minister to her, and that's also, if we have a good relationship together, we can work together, and then we are safe harbor for people to come to us, you know.
Yes.
That's also very good to be close to each other, that we can be a very good harbor for people.
Because it's very important that a woman also can talk to a man about this. So that's why we do this work together. And we've
Yeah.
met many victims, and um, and many, almost everybody was healed. And it is so hopeful that we can tell you that there is Jesus took our sorrows. He carried our sorrows. And it is wonderful that we know this, and that there is healing for a broken heart, and also healing for someone who is robbed of her boundaries.
That's right.
And
That's
then,
one.
yeah, and it is also, of course, that is also true for men who are victims of abuse.
Yeah, that's the same way. Yes, and for people who are listen afterwards or now, you can always make with Jesus a fresh start. There's always a way to start again.
Yes.
He take all your cares. He have taken all your cares. He have buried all your burdens.
Yeah.
He have also, he brought all your sicknesses on the cross. But the best news is he didn't stay on the cross. He died and raised up to a new life. And so you can raise up to a new life. So we are people of hope.
Yes.
We are people of hope, and
Absolutely.
and that's what we did with this lady this afternoon too. You are a lady of hope, and we will help you to build you up day by day. And if there are problems, you can call us, and we will build you.
Yes.
And that's the way we can do that here. Richard, Princess Reka, we together, we are here to build up
That's right.
people.
And if
That's
you
right.
are out there and you recognize things here in this, what we talked about the whole evening, please contact Princess Reka.
Yeah.
Write her. Don't hesitate, because there is an answer for the things you're going through and the problems you have.
Yes, and maybe you have prayed a lot to the Lord, and let us be together an answer of your
Yes.
prayers.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So anybody has any last words on monogamy versus polygamy? Why one is better than the other?
Yeah. Well,
Look at us.
You
I
get
think
forward.
they don't dare to say anything.
It's
But
it's much
yeah,
more better.
we like to address things head on. We like to address things that people meet with, these kind of lifestyles out there, and we want to say that we are not of those. We are not in favor of these polygamous relationships, because we know better. And that's just what it is.
Right. That's
And
what it is.
we recognize that we are dealing with people on both sides of the aisle, and we don't play with people. People are not to be played with. Their bodies are not to be played with. Their hearts are not to be played with. And obviously, every relationship is spiritual first and foremost, whether you like to admit it or not. is not physical first and foremost, because we are spirit beings
That's
on a human journey, not
Mhm.
not earthly beings on a spiritual journey, but we are indeed spiritual beings on a human journey.
Mhm.
So everything has to be accomplished from the spirit. Everything has to be viewed from the spirit.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
above all, the relationships are to be viewed from the spiritual standpoint,
Mhm.
and everything that is to be done and to be accomplished has to be accomplished in the spirit first. So
Yeah.
when you sin against yourself, it's like you don't just sin against the other person, you also sin against yourself. When you sleep around, when you are being unfaithful, you are breaking the covenant, of course, that you are in, and you are with the other person. And of course, you are breaking the covenant with yourself as well, because you have just betrayed yourself as well.
Mhm.
And that will never end well. I don't care what you say. I know it will never end well. And of course, there's always a way to repent and change your way around. And many people have, and they are better for it. So no judgment here. We just want to tell you that if you are living this kind of
Yes,
lifestyle, don't believe the lies that it's okay. Don't believe the lies that it's gonna be fine, and we need to evolve and we need to change our perspective because the world has changed. Well, the world hasn't changed. It's people who have changed, and we don't want to join this new ideas that is acceptable to have an open relationship, quote unquote, or to be unfaithful. And it's just, oh, it didn't mean anything. Yes, it did mean something. It meant that you are unfaithful, you are undisciplined, and you are not you don't deserve the partner you are with, especially if you guys are married, and especially if you have kids. That's what it means. And if you don't want to change your ways, I know it will not end well for you. But if you want to change your ways, we would like to help you. And of course, find someone that you can confide with, and find someone you can turn to, who has moral values and ethical values, and who can help you. So we are not coming from the perspective of judgment. We are coming from the perspective of what works, what doesn't work. And that was our original line, is what works, what doesn't work. And you don't want to be in a relationship where you are not being respected. You also don't want to be in a relationship where you feel like you have to run around. You don't have to run around. It doesn't just happen. It's a decision. And I'm glad Frida said that love is not a feeling, because we have this song, love is not a feeling, it's an act of your will. It is a song by Don Francisco. I actually grew up on his songs, and he had great songs that he put the Bible message encapsulated them in a very direct way, direct form, that made it so plain to understand. And of course, for me to remember many decades later, this very line, that love is not a feeling, it's an act of your will. Yes. So if you feel like, the love died because you never know what happens, well, it's like a fire. You are not supposed to let it cool off. You're supposed to put fire on it, right? So Frida and Alexander, you are together since how many years? 40? How many years you've been married?
45 years.
45 years.
Yeah.
My parents are 55 years marriage, and
Wow.
they have
Congratulations.
also never been with anybody else. They never even considered anybody else. But this is a blessing, because we grew up in a Christian family, and of course, the kids grew up in a Christian family as a result of that. And it's not because they didn't have any other option. It's not because there were no temptations, but it's because they made a decision that they love each other. And that's what ties back to this statement we just made, that love is not a feeling, or not just a feeling, it's an act of your will. Amen. So you made a decision to be faithful to that person, and you are going to keep your word. You're not going to betray. And if you feel like you are, the romance left the marriage, then you are going to fuel that fire, because that's what you need to do.
You're right.
You don't expect it just to go, have the flames all the time, or by itself, just like a fire. You have to feed it. It doesn't work on its own.
No.
You have to feed it.
Yes.
And both of you have to feed it, not just one person. But I shouldn't be the marriage counseling person because I'm not married. Sorry, maybe someone can
That's-
say, but as
that's
far as
you
you
say
can
very
tell,
well.
this is how it
You
works.
do it very well. Very well, Mrs. Reka.
I think I'm blessed that I don't have to be married. And if God brings me the right person, I'm fine with that. But I'm very, very happy. And I feel like I dodged the bullet, to be perfectly honest. Because I never have to go through all that. Oh, we're unfaithful, the fire went out, or this happened, or that hurt. I'm happy for everybody who's married, but I'm very happy not being married. And we'll see what happens. God can change my mind, but for now I can just say fan those flames. If you feel like it's cooled off in your relationship, it's your decision to fan the flame. Take some time
Oh, yes, it is.
to spend time with each other without the kids, without the work, without all these responsibilities that you normally have during the day, and just go to a movie, take your wife out in a nice restaurant, take a walk that doesn't cost money. Take a walk, just the two of you, and talk, communicate. Communication is a way of life. A relationship where there's no communication is a dead relationship. You have to, whether it's with your child or with your spouse, you have to have some kind of a dialogue going on, not just a monologue, not just the one person talking and the other one listens. It has to be both ways. So communication is also very important in a relationship, every relationship, really. So that's one of the things that you can start, right?
And communication can also in small things, to write a little letter or
there you go.
or
See, we
take
hear
a
the
note,
experts.
a little letter, make joy in your relationship every day, and it can be in very small things. You doesn't have to buy huge things every day, it counts also, but it's small things to
small things, that's right.
Bring a cup of tea or something else, it's also the small things that
or to even ask how your wife is doing, how was your day, and listen to the answer. I think it's very important for a woman to be listened to by her husband, isn't it? Sometimes that means more than a diamond necklace, to have someone ask how you're doing and listen to the answer.
Yes.
And remember certain things, like remember your likes, your dislikes, even the small things, how you like your coffee, that can tell you, even in a beginning of a relationship, it can tell a lot about the other person, how much the person really pays attention. Do they even remember your name? Do they remember your likes, your dislikes? Do they remember, your favorite, I don't know, music, your favorite dish, your favorite coffee? How do you drink the coffee with I don't know, with milk or without milk, or little things like that. Little things like that can go a long way. I should be a marriage counselor. I'm so smart.
You are very smart.
I'm so
You're
wise.
very smart. That's not
I've seen movies where I forgot the name, but it was a very, very funny movie where I think the wife died, and the man of the house, the father, was raising two daughters alone. So of course he needed all the advice because the wife was gone. So he didn't know anything about the teenage girls, how to raise them well. So he would always call in to a psychologist, or yes, a psychologist, somebody that a relationship expert. And he would always give the best advices from his big book on relationships and how to handle children and all that. And he would always, the father would always follow every little and big advice he would give, because he was the expert. So of course he would be the right person to, and everything that he followed just went the wrong way, and everything was just worse than the other. And at the end of the movie, he was asking the psychologist, so how did you handle your kids? What kids? I don't have a kid. He was just giving advices because he was just, he in theory, I guess it worked, but But turns out he wasn't married. He had no kids. He didn't even want to. He didn't like kids. He just liked to give advices on this situation. So I'm the first one to tell you, I'm no expert, but I have seen a lot, and I grew up in a big family, and I know that my parents were always together. I never heard them argue ever. It's not that they didn't agree. It's not that they agreed on everything, but they would never, they would disagree in a healthy way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But definitely they were not arguing, and they were never fighting ever. So I guess you can do it well. And they've been married since 55 years, going on 56, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and that works. That works. And the situations were not always ideal. It's not because we had so much money, and then they were able to go to, one person go to the Hamptons and the other person stays in Manhattan, and then they don't even have to see each other. So I guess it's easy to stay married that way when you don't even have to see each other. But no, they actually lived together, and they still do. So it can be done well. And of course, we have Alexander and Frida here. We have Richard and Dennis here. And you guys have a long history looking back to how to make it work. How to make a marriage work. So maybe Alexander and Frida, you guys can, for whenever we meet next time, can prepare how to make a marriage work, how to make a relationship
Yes, that's
work.
good.
Because you have a lot to share.
We did already.
That's already.
Last experience.
We can do it again. It's no problem. And is it on 2 January or is it a week late? Because 2 January we are in Germany.
January.
I have no idea. I don't know when it is going to be, but I don't.
We will do that. We will do that, and we will take it.
The more practical you can be, the best.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Practical advices.
Yeah.
And I know it's not enough to hear it once. People need to hear it again. And,
I like to do that. I like to do that.
We are in Germany during the
29th till 2 January.
during the New Year. So we come back at the 2nd.
Yeah, I have no idea. We can communicate when the next time is going to be. You guys can be online, and it's going to be posted. So we don't know at this point, but it's good to be flexible.
Oh yes, we are. We are flexible. Always flexible.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas, everybody. We love you guys.
Yes.
We have elements.
We'll see when next time is going to be, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Love you guys. You have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and love each other. Express your best gift for yourself also,
Yes.
and for others, and spend time with your family. God bless you guys. Love you.